exciting panel. And the topic is, can people in the UK live 5 years longer by 2030? And so I start with Lynn Cox. Lynn is a professor, as Jim mentioned, at Oriel College at Oxford. She was one of the first people to be hip to the subject of biogerontology. And she has one of the foremost experts of molecular mechanisms in aging. You okay with that one? Tina is a geneticist, activist, author who's created a collaboration between business and entrepreneurs to try and modify aging. And then the one that we can all hold responsible is Dr. Charles Alessi, who's a physician who's guiding public policy through the Public Health England and through HIMSS, is that how it's pronounced?
Yes, HIMSS is a global not-for-profit.
Yes, and digital, emphasizing the digital aspect.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to start backwards. You all know at this point in time the discrepancy between health span and lifespan. That one is how long you live healthy, and the other one is how long you live. So this is a grand idea. Why won't it happen? And I'll start with Tina.
So just to give a little, I guess, context to the question. So this was actually a goal, achieving 5 extra years of healthy life expectancy, about a year and a half ago by Theresa May. So this was a goal that was set by government. And of course, at the time, in 2017, the industrial strategy, the 4 grand challenges were published. And it was an attempt to really synthesize all the opportunities across the industrial strategy, the grand challenges, to come up with this goal. And then what we realized, and I indeed have many colleagues here, through my work with the Healthy Aging Industrial Strategy Challenge Fund last year, I wear a lot of other hats with NHS and academic health science networks and data and AI as well. And really what really appeared and what seemed to me was there was no real action plan around how to achieve that. There's a huge amount of money going into the space, but actually really what are the drivers of how to actually achieve that goal? So that was why this idea for the All-Party Parliamentary Group for longevity came to be, and this is through Longevity International. So set that up with Dmitry Kaminsky, and then Eric Kilstrom has been very involved in helping us get the All-Party Parliamentary Group off the ground. And really what we wanted to do was to look at how can we achieve this. And the reason why I think, and it's been a fascinating journey over the past 6 months, and we've done an incredible amount of incredible stuff, and of course Charles and Lynn and many people here are involved in our advisory board panels. We've got business leaders, scientists, policymakers, big business, the startup world, all involved around a big national consultation exercise asking how can we do this. And I think the reason why it won't happen, and it's interesting because I know, I think it was Aubrey, policymakers need to wake up. And of course, the beauty about the All-Party Parliament.
So we're blaming Charles.
Oh, I'm not going to blame Charles.
Yeah. Why not? Everyone else does.
But just to answer your question, so I'm just trying to get a bit of context, and I'll try and answer the question, is, we know that the pace of change with technology, and I mean, all of us are very involved in technology, is absolutely immense and exponentially growing. Everyone is struggling to keep up. Policymakers, government, big business, the corporates, institutions, they all are in their silos, and they're all trying to make sense of an enormous amount of change and progress. And then, of course, we've got the general public. And I think sitting in the room with all the advisory board meetings that we've had, we have an interesting tension, because the scientists will say, oh my goodness, we can achieve this goal in 5 years. It'll be easy peasy, we've got all the science, and of course we're talking a lot about that. But then of course you speak to the academics, and then you speak to the social scientists, and then you speak to a wider sort of group and business leaders, and they just say, you know what, this is going to be absolute bloody hell. There's no way in hell where, and the fact is, and I'll just say one, life expectancy, the increase in life expectancy that we've been seeing has been stalling, and we're seeing growing health inequalities. This is actually what is happening now. So we have to remember, have a bit of a reality check. If you go to the US, life expectancy over the last 3 years has actually been dropping. I mean, in the US, which spends double the amount in healthcare than in any other developed country, life expectancy is going down, and health inequalities are growing. So inequalities in health are associated with inequalities in wealth. And so everything that is the focus of what we're doing now, and to answer the question, it's the social determinants of health. It's a reason why we are trapped in ill health. It's where you're born, it's your social position, it's your educational attainment, it's your whether you're born in poverty. And of course, the science is telling us why that is the case. Stress in environments. If you speak to experts of the exposome, in fact, I had a fascinating conversation, thanks to Lynn, put me in touch with Paul Shields in Glasgow. It is fascinating what the science is telling us as to why we respond. It's environment, it's lifestyle, it's behavior. These are why it's going to be really, really tough to